Have you ever wondered if you are, in fact, so far from the life you desire? Or could it be that, like that fish desperately searching the ocean, you are also swimming right inside what you are looking for, but haven't realized it yet? We grow up hearing that happiness is just around the corner, when we land our dream job, when we buy the house, when we find someone who completes us. There's always a when, an invisible finish line that seems to move every time we think we're about to reach it. And in this silent race for purpose, for a deeper meaning, we drift away from the present, ignoring what's right in front of us, life unfolding in its purest and most authentic form. Alan Watts said that the secret of life lies not in solving some great mystery hidden in the depths of the universe, but in awakening to the obvious, the present moment. And this, as simple as it may seem, is what we most often ignore. We live as if we were separate from what we seek, when in fact we are immersed in it all the time. Like the fish in the sea which doesn't understand what the ocean is because it is the ocean itself. Have you ever experienced this? Ever felt like you were eternally on the verge of something great, but never quite able to touch it? The constant feeling that something is still missing? Maybe you're searching for a happiness that never presents itself, because it's not in the future. It's in realizing the now. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover now might surprise you. This realization that you're already where you've always wanted to be can completely change the way you view your journey. It's not about conformity, but about awakening, about opening your eyes to the fact that life doesn't begin when everything is resolved. Life has already begun. It's happening right now, as you breathe, feel, listen, doubt, wait. It's uncomfortable, I know, because we've been conditioned to believe that we'll only be complete when we're in a specific place with a specific person, with everything under control. But what if I told you that this constant search is precisely what's keeping you from the peace you so desperately desire? That perhaps what you're so urgently seeking isn't outside of you, but rather in the way you're relating to the present? It's not about stopping dreaming or seeking evolution. It's about recognizing that the starting point was never far away. You're already in the ocean. You always have been. You just need to realize it. But why is it so hard to see this? Why does something that is actually around us all the time seem so distant? Perhaps because modern life teaches us to always look forward, never inward. We are trained to be restless, to chase the next goal as if each achievement were just a stepping stone to another and another, without ever allowing a pause, a silence, a moment of presence. The fish searching for the sea doesn't notice the water surrounding it because it's too distracted by the idea of something bigger. And we do the same. We waste precious moments waiting for a big event, when, in fact, everything that's most real to us is happening right now, this very second. You know that feeling that something is missing even when technically everything is right? That's not failure. It's just an invitation, a silent call to wake up, to realize that perhaps what's missing isn't another achievement, but a different perspective on what already exists. Life isn't a straight line with a glorious finish line at the end. It's dance, flow, movement, like the waves of the ocean that come and go, with no fixed destination, yet full of meaning. And if this resonates with you, if in some way this content touched you or made you think differently, then I invite you to subscribe to the channel, not just to support this work, but to continue this journey with me. Here, we dive deep, not with ready-made answers, but with reflections that liberate, calm, and awaken. Click subscribe and activate the bell. That way you won't miss the next dives we'll take here. Because believe me, the ocean is vast, and we're just beginning to explore the surface. We live with this silent impression that real life hasn't yet begun, as if everything up until now were just a rehearsal, and true existence were waiting for some magical moment in the future. The promotion, the ideal relationship, recognition, stability, some combination of factors that, when it finally happens, will make us feel complete. It's curious how this feeling shapes our story. Little by little, without us realizing it, it begins to guide our decisions, our relationships, even our most intimate thoughts. But what happens when we finally achieve what we so desperately desire, and yet still feel like something is missing? This is a question few have the courage to ask out loud, because it challenges an entire mental structure based on the promise that down the line, everything will make sense. Alan Watts dismantles this illusion in an almost disconcerting way when he says that life is not a problem to be solved. It doesn't need a solution. It demands presence. And presence is exactly what we most forget to cultivate. When we live with our eyes fixed on what's missing, we fail to see what already exists. We fail to notice the subtle impact of a glance, a sunset, a sincere conversation. We fail to live, even while we're breathing. This is the cruelest paradox of existence, being alive yet feeling absent. The mind races, calculates, compares, projects, but the heart wants only one thing: to be here, to feel, to connect, to truly live, not as a task, but as a dance. The blind search for meaning is what most distances us from the true experience of life. Because meaning isn't hidden in a secret code that needs to be deciphered. It's in the way you live now, in the way you choose to look at the world, in the silence you allow between one thought and another, in the space between control and surrender. And yes, it can be uncomfortable to acknowledge this, because it requires a kind of courage that isn't celebrated on social media. The courage to stop, to not rush, to simply be. A fish doesn't need to understand the ocean to swim in it. It doesn't need to dominate it nor name it. It just needs to flow. But we humans have this tendency to want to control everything. We want to hold life with both hands, label it, manipulate it, decide how it should unfold. And the more we try to force it, the more it slips away. Because life isn't something you hold on to. It's something you allow. It's light, like a breeze that only touches those still enough to feel it. And why is it so hard to let go? Because we've been taught that control is security. But ironically, it's precisely control that imprisons us. Watts spoke about this with disconcerting clarity, that it's when we let go of the reins that we finally begin to live with ease, that the peace we so desperately seek comes not from the perfect order of events, but from surrendering to what cannot be controlled. Peace is not the absence of chaos. It's the acceptance that chaos is part of the flow. Just as the tides rise and fall, life also pulsates between opposites: fear and courage, doubt and clarity, pain and relief. And all of this has its place. All of this is life. The problem is that we learn to judge these tides. We want to surf only the waves that lift us up. But it's in the descent that we gain depth. It's there that we find ourselves again. True transformation happens at this point, when you stop chasing the shadow and start dancing with the light. When you understand that the love, peace, and purpose you seek out there already exist, raw and silent within you. They're not hidden. You just may not have looked closely enough. And that changes everything. It changes your mindset, your pace, your way of perceiving the behind the scenes of your own journey. Because it's no longer about achieving something to be happy. It's about awakening to the fact that you're already immersed in the sea you've been searching for. And the more you try to grasp that ocean, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you stop, when you simply float, something changes, something profound, something essential, because it is precisely at this turning point, that silent moment when you begin to question everything you've been told about what it means to be successful, to be someone, or to succeed in life, that the true journey begins. Not a journey outward, to achieve more, but inward, a journey of return, of reconnection, of listening. This is when the revelations begin to emerge, as if they've always been there, just waiting for you to be calm enough to notice. When you realize that the frantic search for control, recognition, or security only distanced you from what mattered most, the simplicity of the now, the delicacy of the present moment, the peace of being exactly where you are without needing to prove anything, not even to yourself. And it's curious how, by making this internal slowdown, everything around you begins to reorganize itself. Decisions become clearer, the right people come closer. External pressures lose their power, because when you stop resisting, you begin to flow. And flowing doesn't mean being passive, but rather intelligent enough to perceive the right moment to act. That moment born not of anxiety, but of awareness. It's as if life suddenly ceased to be a sequence of challenges to be overcome and became an organic process in constant movement, where each experience, no matter how uncomfortable it may seem, carries within it something sacred, a lesson, a calling, a mirror. But this requires presence, and presence isn't something you buy or learn over the weekend. It's something you cultivate. It's a daily, silent, subtle practice. Sometimes it's just closing your eyes for a few seconds and listening to your own breathing. Other times it's observing your thoughts without fighting them. And sometimes it's having the courage to stop and admit, I don't know. Because in that not knowing lies immense freedom. How many times have you tried to control what people think of you? How many times have you hidden your vulnerability for fear of appearing weak? And how many times have you ignored your own intuition to follow a path that seemed safer? All of this is exhausting. All of this disconnects us. Because constantly trying to be who others expect you to be is the quickest way to forget who you truly are. And that's why Alan Watts was so insistent on the idea of letting go. Letting go of the character. Letting go of the script. Letting go of the fixed idea that you need to be someone to have value. Because, ironically, it's in that emptiness that remains, when you let go of everything, that you truly find yourself. Not as an identity, but as presence, as consciousness, as pure life. And this life, when lived mindfully, doesn't need complex explanations. It's felt, like the wind on your face, like the morning light, like the comforting silence. Life is here. It always has been. The fish doesn't need to swim to find the sea. It just needs to stop searching. But the mind, conditioned to movement, resists. It says, it can't be just this. I need more. I need to conquer, accumulate, show. And this is where the hidden truth begins to reveal itself. That this more the mind demands is a reflection of an emptiness that can only be filled with presence, not with results. Because you can have everything and still feel lost. And you can have almost nothing and still feel whole. The difference lies in how you relate to the moment. There's a subtle, almost imperceptible turning point where your mind begins to quiet, where you realize you no longer need to fight the current, where you begin to allow yourself to live, without masks, without heavy expectations, without the constant fear of not being enough. And at that point, something awakens. It's not something that can be precisely described, but it's real, it's profound, it's transformative. Now imagine living each day with this lightness. Imagine looking in the mirror and finally seeing not a character but a living, conscious, free presence. This changes everything. It changes your rhythm, your choices, your relationships, because you stop reacting and start responding. You stop defending yourself and start expressing yourself. If you've made it this far, maybe something really resonated with you. And if this conversation resonated with you, if at any point along this journey you felt lighter, more present, or even a little more connected to yourself, then this space is for you. I'm building this channel as a place for deep reflection, intentional pauses amidst the chaos, and different perspectives on the life we live every day without even realizing it. So, if this kind of content resonates with you, if it helps you reconnect in some way or simply breathe more consciously, consider subscribing to the channel. This way, you'll continue this journey with me, a journey that's unhurried, but full of meaning. And leave it in the comments. I'm with you until the end, because it shows me that the message got through, that this connection happened, and it's this kind of exchange that gives meaning to all of this here. If this video made your day in a special way, please leave a like. It's not just for engagement, it's for recognition. It's like saying, this conversation was worth it. There's a video here to complement this dive. Click and follow along with me there. We still have a lot to explore together.